ourselves that hard work pays off, that we can achieve anything by working, overcome any obstacle, but they never tell us what we are working for. What is we are pouring our blood, sweat and tears into? We do it because we want to. We want to be able to look at our work and say, I did this. I'm trying to keep this movie away from my son. If he saw it, he would say, come on, Dane. It's a shame. This cheap golden trailer script. You're just compromising my name, my professional skills. I would have never montaged the film this old-fashioned way. People would say, I have helped you. And what? When I have nothing to do with it? Come on, take it down. He's a cinematographer and a filmmaker. So I apologize for the quality, but I thought the priority is the information I have to provide. Anyway, here we are. Oh, and thanks for watching. There is no denial that 60s and 70s were the amazing era in the history of mankind. So many events took place that it paved the way for fast and dynamic development of the human race. Two superpowers and two camps, USA and the USSR, were segregated by iron curtains, and it was in those times where the saying, the grass is greener on the other side of the fence, was coined. Now I realize that I'm one of the representatives of the happiest generation. Why? Because all crucial social and political changes took place right in front of my eyes. From the first TV to the first computer, first stereo LP player to sophisticated internet technology. Incredible. I was born to a beautiful and young middle-class married couple at the end of 50s. I was the firstborn in my generation for the whole kinship, and probably that is why I was pampered and even a little spoiled by my grandparents. At the age of 3, I played chess fairly well. At 4, I knew the world political map with its countries and capitals. At 5, I began to write, and at 6, I had a dream to cross the Pacific like Thor Heyerdahl on Kon-Tiki. I remember my student years today as the best time of my life. Even in high school, boys slavishly followed the hippie fashion and movement trends, later transforming into Harley-Davidson bike riders. We had huge power and intended even to change the world. Actually, we did it. Sometimes they even called us the jeans generation, and this mentality so deeply penetrated our self-consciousness that since 70s I have not even worn anything different rather than blue jeans. I will never forget the day when Mom bought brand new Levi's and I spent the whole night rubbing it with a sandpaper to make it look ragged and shabby. '70s were peak drive towards inventions. From time to time, I used to witness breathtaking innovations in those times, which kept us on a constant move for transformation, adjustment, adaptation. I think that these were times where Charles Darwin's survival evolution theory could have had its say. 80s were more revolutionary than innovative, although the seed sown in 70s began to harvest now. World began to total change. Most of the noticeable changes in me were those which triggered independent lifestyle and decisions to build career. Student life was the biggest gift we could have had as the young. Complete freedom, no restrictions, and the leniency with which the older generation used to treat us bred strong sense of self-determination and independent decision-making, and of course, forced a rebel spirit. After graduation, I was recruited for Army service and served in airborne troops. This was the biggest test of life for me, for which I, so to say, sacrificed almost 80 pounds of my fat in training and military operations. The political tension and arms race reached its peak in the world. Post-military service period posed a turning point in my life morally as well as physically. It was the biggest time to stick out and establish yourself. The second part of 80s was dedicated to a social work I committed myself to, as it was the gate to the ruling class. When the world finally destroyed all stereotypes, people were so disintegrated after the Second World War that they needed help to build a new understanding and change old mentality. I took advantage of the situation and began to mediate on an international level, helping to kill stereotypes and getting to know each other better. It was called people's diplomacy. Here I found myself another way of popularity. Newspaper and TVs used to compete in titling me as a pioneer of the West or peace envoy of the East. The film in which I starred made of me a kind of a popular playboy, the image which followed me for many years. This image even helped me to climb the social ladder. The movie where I represented the typical youngster with an ego and romanticism depicted a short time span of student life, which most of my contemporaries led. Actually, I was a positive hero in the face of my generation. This role was close to almost all in my generation, and that is probably why the film paved way for my popularity. Friendship, love, romantic relations, work, education, everything equally blended in one cocktail of a hero of 80s. In the beginning of 90s, I finally married my beloved wife after previous two unsuccessful marriages, and we moved to Atlanta, Georgia, USA. My time-tested skills to survive in an environment got me on the right track in America. But this period of time was marked with nothing special, just a rat race for earnings and family ideal as America allowed it. No popularity, no fame, just anonymity, an isolated social environment for which America is known well. My wife, my newly born son, and doggy boxer, which we bought from Turkey, had quite monotonous, pensioners type.
She blew me off without making a sound. She had a fire in her eye and her heart began to pound. I said, hey baby, I done burned Atlanta down.
However, the love of art and theater, like a worm, gnawed my ego from inside and kept provoking me to make another step toward active lifestyle. So while working and caring about my family, I found some time to write a play and offered it to stage. The chance did not wait long, and I got a call from one of the community drama theaters in the vicinity. I was happy and thanked God for this opportunity to make my life a little bit more decorated rather than only the family life.
I said, hey girl, do you want to ride to town? She blew me off without making a sound. She had a fire in her eye and her heart began to pound. I said, hey baby, I done burned Atlanta down.
I was alone to build the stage, set background props, record music, arrange lightings, and direct the play. I had only 3 actors, whom I also selected at auditions, and now every evening I had plays, where I spent hours never regretting of loss of time or money. The play was based on a biblical theme, and even names I had there, Jim Adams and Kate Evans as main heroes. It was a drama describing life of a couple of different stages of their lives. The stage I arranged as an open box and ring to point out that all the audience is the part of the play and everyone may have the same in their homes as it was in action on the stage. It was the psychological drama with eternal dilemma, interrelation of a man and a woman, love and jealousy, mercy and cruelty, kindness and greed, solitude and regret. I did not expect to see even tears in the eyes of the audience at the end of the debut, but there was some. Ni hao. My wife and I have always had an itchy foot, and voila, by the millennium we landed in China where I had a year-long teaching contract. I forgot to mention that by this time we already had a daughter too. Xiantan, hometown of Great Mao, Mao Zedong, the leader of Communist China, was the first place I began to teach at the university. 1 year teaching was followed by the offer to extend it for another, and in 2000 I celebrated my first award for teaching, Lotus Award for the Best Teacher of the Year. Being a linguist, my profession, I had never thought of teaching, but success in China overwhelmed me. I felt another type of popularity, which was the result of hard work and accomplishments, constant skill training, and sharing the knowledge. Even though today I do not know any other word in Chinese except ni hao, we have pursued teaching career in China for almost 9 consecutive years. My popularity as of a teacher allowed me to jungle with contracts at the end of the year to start teaching in another college or university. My lectures were more like a show rather than just a hollow ABC, and Chinese students appreciated it. Even today, after so many years, I still receive emails from my former students occasionally. I was rewarded another time and received Chinese government recognition for supporting the educational system. Baku, Azerbaijan. Land of Fire is a country in the south of Caucasus with a mixture of Oriental traditions with the Occidental lifestyle. For us, as a family after China, it was just a piece of cake to cope. Unexpectedly realizing the inevitability of a long stay, I started building up cooperative links with a network of private and state-owned organizations which needed to develop language learning systems. I began to train local university teachers while having private individual trainees of almost all ages. Oriental tradition of the word of the mouth worked in this country better than any classified ad or advertising campaign. And killing two birds with one stone, I began to make even friends among the trainees as they referred me to others. Into the bargain, my son got an offer to pursue his cinematographic career and soon married a local girl. This was a logical outcome as we have stayed in Baku for almost 10 years, occasionally traveling out of the country and back. 2 dogs, 1 cat, and the family. Makes it a rather exotic scenario, doesn't it? Actually, we did not intend to stay here long, but just one mishap urged us to stay here for at least 3 years and further on. I even made a documentary film about it. The film told our story of struggle with the government hypocrisy and heartless bureaucracy we have had an experience of facing, but not related to Azerbaijan actually. While in Baku, my son Radeli used to shoot short films for his university studies pretty often, where daughter Jacqueline and I were as usually complimentary volunteering actors and free script writers. Here my past skills of an actor and a director again opened in a new Fairmont. I added several interesting images to the library of amateur cinema heroes. It was an additional activity to my professional one as of a teacher and educator. We even used to involve my students and friends in the process of creating short films, which actually made up a working portfolio of my son.